Good evening, and welcome to this quiet place. Wherever you are right now, however the day has treated you, you have arrived somewhere safe. The lights can be low, the room can be still. Nothing is left for you to finish tonight. Nothing that cannot wait until morning. Nothing here that asks anything of you at all. You have come to rest, and resting is enough. For the next long while, we will move slowly through gentle stories and old, soft teachings, the kind that have been passed from one tired heart to another for a very long time. They are not lessons to study. They are more like a hand resting lightly on your shoulder in the dark. You do not need to remember them. You do not need to understand every word. You only need to let them be near you while sleep comes closer. This is what we will keep returning to tonight, the simplest thing of all. There is a kind of awareness that does not work, that does not strain, that does not stand guard. It is gentle. It is already here. It is the soft noticing that lets the breath rise without your help, that hears a sound far away and lets it pass, that knows the weight of your body on the bed without needing to do anything about it. You do not have to build this awareness. You need not earn it. Tonight, you can simply let it hold you while you fall asleep. If you feel comfortable, you might leave a small word in the comments before you drift away. The time where you are, or the place you are listening from, or one quiet thing you are setting down for the night. It makes this a little less lonely, knowing that other tired people are lying in their own dark rooms, breathing slowly, the way you are now. If this calm helps you even a little, a gentle tap on the like brings this same quiet to another person who needs it tonight. And if you would like a place like this to return to on the harder nights, you are always welcome to subscribe and rest here again. But none of that is needed now. There is nothing more for you to do. You can let the screen grow dim, let the words become a voice in a warm room, and let the evening soften all the way down to your hands. So let us begin where every long night begins, with the body. Notice, without changing anything, that you are breathing. The breath has been moving by itself all day while you were busy, and it is still moving now. Let your next breath be a little slower, a little longer, the way a door swings gently shut. And let the one after that be slower still. Feel the small loosening in your shoulders, the way they let go of a weight you have been holding without realizing it. Let your jaw soften. Let your tongue rest. Let the space between your eyebrows go smooth, as if a warm thumb pressed there once and the tension simply left. There is an old story about a man who kept the gate of a mountain monastery. He was a good man, and he took his work seriously, perhaps too seriously. Every night, while the monks slept, he walked the wall and watched the path that wound up from the valley. He believed that if he ever stopped watching, even for a moment, something dark would slip past him in the night and harm the people he loved. So he did not sleep. Year after year, his eyes grew heavy and his back grew bent, and still he walked, because he could not imagine who he would be if he were not the one keeping watch. We will follow that man into his long night a little later, and meet the old teacher who waited at the top of the stairs for him. But for now, simply notice if something in you recognizes him. Notice if there is a part of you that has been keeping watch for a very long time. A part that stays slightly alert even as you lie down, listening for the next problem, scanning the day that has passed and the day that is coming, certain that if it ever fully relaxed, everything might fall apart. That part of you is not your enemy. It has only been trying to protect you. This night, you do not have to fight it. You only have to show it that the gate can be safe even when no one is straining to hold it shut. Let your breath go on without your supervision. It does not need you to count it or perfect it. It knows how. In the same way, your heart is beating without your instruction, and your body is already doing the slow work of letting the day dissolve. So much of you is already at peace. The only part still awake is the thin, watchful part of the mind, and even that part is allowed to grow tired now. You have permission to stop standing guard. Feel the surface beneath you, the bed or the chair or the floor, holding all of your weight so that you need not hold any of it. Notice how the ground has been carrying you faithfully your whole life, asking for nothing, never once dropping you. You can lean into that. You can let your body be a little heavier than usual, sinking the smallest amount further into the warmth, the way a stone settles into a riverbed and is content to stay. Outside, wherever you are, the night is doing what night has always done. It is turning the world soft. It is hiding the sharp edges of everything until morning. The same darkness that covers your window covers the mountains and the seas, and the small lamps in 1,000 other windows where other people are lying down, breathing out the long day. You are part of something very old and very gentle right now. The whole turning earth is leaning toward rest, and you are leaning with it. So let the first story rest at the edge of your mind, like a lamp left burning softly in a doorway. There is no need to walk toward it. You need not do anything with it. We will go there slowly, in our own time, and there is no hurry, because tonight there is nowhere else to be. The watchman on the wall will still be there, walking his long, faithful round when we return to him. And perhaps, by the time we do, you will already understand something he spent his whole life learning. That the gentlest awareness keeps watch over us, far better than our tired effort ever could, and that it never once needs us to stay awake. For now, just breathe. Let the warmth gather around you. Let the day go where days go when they are finished. You are allowed to rest, fully and without apology, exactly as you are. The lamp in the doorway burns low and steady, and the path it lights leads back to the mountain gate, where the watchman is still walking his round. Let us go to him now, slowly, the way you would walk through a sleeping house without waking anyone. The monastery sat high on a ridge, above the clouds on most mornings, and the gate was an old thing of dark wood and iron, taller than 3 men. The watchman had been given the keeping of it when he was young and strong, in the years after a hard time in the valley below, when fear still lived in everyone's chest. Back then it had made sense to watch. There were real dangers on the road. But the years passed, and the valley grew calm, and the road grew quiet, and still the watchman walked, because somewhere along the way, the watching had stopped being a task and had become who he believed he was. Each night he climbed the worn stone steps to the top of the wall and looked out at the dark slope. He listened to every sound. The wind in the pines was a footstep. The cry of a night bird was a warning. A stone loosened by a deer was an intruder. He never let himself sit. He told himself that the moment he sat, the moment he closed his eyes, would be the very moment something slipped past, and the harm he had spent his whole life preventing would finally arrive. So he stayed standing, and his legs ached, and his eyes burned, and he grew old without ever once feeling safe. Perhaps you know the weariness of that. Not the watchman's exactly, but something shaped like it. The tiredness that does not come only from the body, but from a mind that will not set itself down. You lie in bed and your eyes close, but somewhere behind them a small watchman is still on the wall, still pacing, still listening for the next thing to go wrong. He reviews the conversation from the afternoon. He checks the list for tomorrow. He scans the people you love to be sure they are all right. He is certain that if he ever truly rested, something would be missed, and the missing of it would be your fault. You do not need to silence that part of you tonight. You do not need to argue with it or shame it for being there. It learned its watching honestly, in some season of your life when watching kept you safe. It is only doing what it was taught, Zen. The trouble is not that it cares. The trouble is that it has forgotten how to stop. The way the old man on the wall had forgotten that the danger had passed long ago. One night, a new teacher came to the monastery. An old woman with a slow walk and eyes that seemed to be smiling even when her face was still. She could not sleep either, that first night, in an unfamiliar bed. And so she rose and climbed the steps to the top of the wall, where she found the watchman pacing in the cold. She did not tell him to rest. She did not tell him he was foolish. She simply stood beside him and looked out at the dark slope with him, as if his watching were the most natural thing in the world. After a long while, she said, very quietly, that it was a beautiful gate. The watchman agreed that it was. Then she asked him, in the same gentle voice, what he thought held the gate shut at night. He told her he did. He held it shut by watching. She was quiet for a moment, and then she said that she had walked through that gate at dusk, and that it had been closed and barred by its own great weight, by the iron and the wood and the bar that 3 men had set in place, and that it had been closed whether anyone watched it or not. The watching, she said, did not hold the gate. The gate held itself. His watching held only him. He did not answer her. But something in his chest, some old knot that had been pulled tight for so long he had stopped feeling it, loosened the smallest amount, not all at once. The mind that has watched for decades does not lay down its post in a single night. But he felt, for the first time in years, the possibility that the safety he had been straining to create with his tired eyes had been there all along, built into the very stone, asking nothing of him. Let that possibility rest near you now, the way the lamp rested in the doorway. Your safety tonight does not depend on your watching. The night will hold itself. The world will keep turning without your supervision. The people you love are breathing somewhere in their own dark rooms, held by the same quiet that holds you. The bar is across the gate. The weight of the wood is enough. You can step back from the wall, and as you let that thought settle, let the body answer it. Feel how your hands, which may still be slightly curled, can open. Let the fingers soften and fall a little apart, the way a leaf opens when the cold leaves it. Feel how your breath, which the watchful mind sometimes holds a fraction too long, can be released fully, all the way to the end, with nothing kept in reserve. There is no breath you need to save for an emergency. There is no emergency coming. You can spend each breath completely and trust that the next one will arrive, freely given, as it always has. The watchman did not leave the wall that night, but he sat down. For the first time in longer than he could remember, he lowered his aching body onto the cold stone and let his back rest against the parapet. And he kept his eyes on the dark slope. But his eyes were soft now, not straining. And in that softness, something surprising happened. He saw more, not less. He saw the way the moonlight moved on the pines. He saw the slow drift of cloud across the valley. He saw that the night was not a thing to be guarded against, but a vast, calm presence that had been keeping its own kind of watch over the mountain long before he was born, and would go on long after. You can let your watching grow soft like that. Not gone, just unstrained. You can keep the faintest awareness of the room, the dark, the sounds far off, and let even that awareness rest its back against something larger. You need not hold the night shut. The night holds itself. And you, like the old watchman finally sitting down on the cold stone, can let your weary eyes go soft, and to discover that resting your guard is not the same as abandoning what you love. It is only, at last, trusting that it is safe. Breathe out. Let the wall be far away now. Nothing waits on the path but moonlight. That same moonlight, the kind that moved so softly on the pines, falls also on water. Let your mind drift down from the mountain wall now, down the long slope to a high lake that lies in a bowl of hills, so still in the early hours that it seems less like water and more like a piece of fallen sky. There was a traveler who came to that lake once, footsore and full of worry, carrying a question he could not put down. He had walked for many days to ask a hermit who was said to live nearby how a person might find peace of mind. When he reached the water at dawn, the hermit was already sitting on a flat stone at the edge, doing nothing at all, simply watching the surface. The traveler, eager and tired, poured out his question. "How could the mind ever be calm?" he asked. "When thoughts come all day and all night, one after another, never stopping, never asking permission." The hermit did not answer right away. Instead, he pointed to the lake. A line of geese was crossing the sky above, and the traveler watched as their reflections slid across the still water, perfect and clear, each gray wing mirrored below. Then the geese flew on, beyond the hills, and within a few breaths, the water was empty again, smooth and untouched, holding nothing of the birds at all. The lake had shown them completely while they passed, and had kept none of them when they were gone. "This," the hermit said, "is the mind you are looking for. Not a mind with no thoughts, a mind like the lake that lets each thought cross its surface, shows it clearly, and then lets it go without grasping. The geese do not harm the water. They do not stay in it. The trouble was never that thoughts arrive. The trouble is the wish to hold them, or to chase them away, which is only another way of holding them. The lake does neither. It simply reflects what passes and remains itself." Feel how that loosens something in you. You have perhaps spent so long believing that a peaceful mind is an empty one, That to rest, you must first stop thinking, must wrestle every thought into silence. And so you lie down, and the thoughts keep coming, and you fight them, and the fighting wakes you further, and you grow angry at yourself for not being calm. And that anger is one more goose crossing the water, one more thing to grip. But you do not have to empty the sky. You only have to be the lake. Let the thought of tomorrow cross, and let it go. Let the memory from the afternoon appear, show itself, and pass beyond the hills. You need not follow any of them. You do not have to push any of them away. You can let your awareness be that still, that wide, that willing to reflect the whole night sky and keep none of it. There is such relief in that, if you let yourself feel it. The relief of no longer being responsible for clearing your own mind, of no longer treating your thoughts as enemies to be defeated before sleep is allowed. The lake never fought the geese. It was never at war with the sky. And it was, for that very reason, perfectly at peace, perfectly still, even while 100 things passed over it. Let your breath move like the slow lapping at the edge of that water, in and out, unhurried, the smallest sound in a vast quiet. With each breath out, imagine the surface of your own mind smoothing, not because you forced the thoughts away, but because you stopped reaching after them. A thought rises. You notice it. You let it cross. The water settles on its own. Another rises. You let that cross too. There is nothing to fix here. There is only this gentle willingness to reflect and release. Reflect and release, until the reflecting itself becomes a kind of rest. The traveler sat with the hermit until the sun rose fully and the lake turned from silver to soft gold. He noticed that he had stopped waiting for an answer, and that in stopping, the answer had quietly arrived. His question about how to calm the mind had not been solved so much as set down, the way you set down a heavy pack at the end of a road and feel, suddenly, how light your own shoulders were always meant to be. He did not have a method to carry home. He had only a memory of still water and crossing birds, and the strange, simple discovery that his mind already knew how to be a lake. It had only forgotten, under all the worry, that this was its nature. Your mind knows this too. Beneath the busyness, beneath the watchman's pacing and the long day's noise, there is a stillness in you that has been there all along, untouched by everything that crossed it. The hard conversation crossed it and is gone. The worry crossed it and is gone. Even the years of sleepless nights crossed it and left no mark on the water itself. That stillness is not something you have to build tonight. It is something you can return to. The way the lake returns to smoothness the moment the birds have passed. Not by effort, but simply because that is what it is when nothing is disturbing it. So let the thoughts come if they come. Welcome them, even the way still water welcomes the reflection of a passing wing, without alarm, without grasping. Let them show themselves, and let them go. And notice that beneath the place where the thoughts move, there is a deeper part of you that is already perfectly calm, already lying still in the dark, already half asleep. You need not drag the rest of yourself there. You only have to remember that it is there, and let your awareness rest down into it, the way light rests on water at the close of day. Feel the weight of your body settling further now, sinking the way a smooth stone sinks slowly through clear water, turning gently as it goes, finding its own place to rest at the bottom, where everything is quiet and the surface above no longer reaches. Up there, the geese may still be crossing. Up there, the wind may still move. But down where you are sinking, it is still and cool and dark and entirely safe. And the only thing asked of you is to keep sinking, slowly, breath by breath, into the soft floor of sleep. Let the lake hold the sky for a while. You can let go of holding anything at all. As you sink, let the water become the bed beneath you, and the cool quiet of the lake floor become the warmth of where you are lying now. We have spent a little while among gates and still water, among teachers and travelers, and that is enough thinking for now. The mind can rest from understanding. For a stretch of this long night, let us leave the stories at the water's edge and simply come home to the body, which has been waiting patiently all this time for your attention to return to it. Begin with the breath, not to change it, only to keep it company. Notice where you feel it most clearly tonight. Perhaps it is the cool air at the edge of your nostrils, or the soft rise somewhere in your chest, or the slow swell low in your belly. There is no correct place. Simply let your attention rest there, the way a hand rests on the warm side of a sleeping animal, feeling it lift and fall, lift and fall, asking nothing of it. The breath has carried you through every moment of your life without once needing your instruction. You can trust it now to carry you into sleep the same way. Let your attention move down through the body, very slowly, like warm water finding its level. Begin at the top of your head and feel the scalp loosen, the small muscles there that you never think of letting go. Let the forehead go smooth. Let the eyes grow heavy in their sockets, so heavy that even if you wished to open them, it would feel like too much effort. And there is no reason to make that effort, none at all. Let the cheeks soften. Let the jaw drop just slightly, the teeth parting, the tongue going still and quiet in the floor of the mouth. So much tension lives in the face without our knowing. Let the night take it. Feel the neck release, the long muscles down the sides of it lengthening, the head growing heavy on whatever holds it, given fully to gravity now. Let the shoulders drop away from the ears, lower than you usually allow them, sliding down the back as if a weight you had been carrying on them all day were finally lifted off and set on the floor where it can stay until morning. Feel the arms grow heavy, the upper arms, the elbows, the forearms, the wrists, the hands. Let the hands lie open and still. Notice the slight warmth in the palms, the faint pulse in the fingertips, the way the fingers curl only the tiniest amount when they are truly at rest. Let the breath continue on its own beneath all of this. You are not lifting it or pushing it. It rises and falls the way the tide rises and falls, by some old agreement with the moon, needing no one to manage it. Each time you breathe out, Let a little more of your weight be given to the bed. There is a softening that happens when we stop holding ourselves up even slightly. A giving over that the body knows how to do, but rarely gets permission for. Tonight, it has permission. You can let your whole frame grow heavy and warm and loose, like wax that has been near a candle, holding no sharp edges anymore. Feel the chest and the slow machinery of the heart inside it, beating without being told, faithful as the breath. There is no need to thank it or worry over it. You can simply notice that the deepest parts of you are already at peace, already doing the quiet night work of carrying you, while the only restless thing left is a thin layer of thought near the surface. And even that is growing tired now, like a flame burning down at the end of a long evening. Let the belly soften completely. Let it rise and fall without being held in, without being judged. Just a warm and living thing rising and falling in the dark. Let the lower back release into the surface beneath you. Let the hips grow heavy. Feel the legs lengthen, the thighs going slack, the knees unlocking, the calves loosening, the ankles, the feet, the very soles of the feet, where the whole long day was carried, finally allowed to rest. Let a warmth pool down there, as if you had slipped your bare feet into warm sand. And let that warmth travel slowly back up through the legs and into the center of you. Now feel the whole body at once, the entire weight of it, held by the bed, held by the floor, held by the patient earth beneath the floor that has never once let anyone fall. You need not do anything to be held. You are being held already. You were held when you were too small to know it, and you are held now. There is a kind of awareness that does not work and does not watch, and this is where you can feel it most plainly, in the simple, wordless knowing that you are a warm and breathing body lying safely in the dark. That knowing does not strain. It does not pace the wall. It does not grasp at the geese crossing the water. It only rests here with you, soft and present, the way moonlight rests on whatever it falls upon, asking nothing in return. If a thought rises while you lie here, you already know what to do, which is nothing. Let it cross. Let it go. Return to the breath, to the warmth, to the weight. The mind will wander, perhaps many times, and each time it does, you have only to notice, kindly, and let your attention drift back down into the body, the way a feather drifts back down to the ground after the wind sets it loose. There is no failure in wandering. The returning is the whole of it, and the returning is gentle. And you may do it as many times as you like, all night long, without ever once getting it wrong. Breathe, and be heavy, and be warm. Let the edges of the room grow indistinct. Let the difference between you and the bed grow soft, so that you are not quite sure anymore where your body ends and the warm dark begins. There is nothing to hold. Nothing needs solving. There is only this slow rising and falling, this gentle weight, this quiet knowing that you are here, and that here is safe, and that you are allowed, fully allowed, to let everything go a little further down towards sleep. breath by breath, with nothing left undone. From within that warm dark, you may notice a thin silver light, the way you sometimes sense moonlight through closed eyelids without seeing it directly. Let your mind rise just gently toward it, not all the way back to wakefulness, only enough to follow a small story by the light of the moon, and then we will sink down again. In a temple garden, long ago, there lived a young novice who wanted very badly to become wise. He was earnest and good-hearted, but he was always in a hurry to grasp the next teaching, to hold it, to keep it safe inside himself so that he would never lose it. One night, he could not sleep, and he wandered out to the well in the courtyard to draw water. And there, in the dark, he saw the most beautiful thing. The full moon was floating on the surface of the well water, round and perfect and pale, resting in the black mouth of the well as if it had come down from the sky to be near him. The novice was struck by it. He thought, if I could carry this moon back to my room, I would have its light and its peace beside me always, even on the cloudy nights, even in the cold months. So he let down the bucket very carefully so as not to disturb the water, and he drew it up slowly. And there, in the bucket, was the moon, shining up at him. Holding his breath, he carried the bucket across the courtyard, watching the moon tremble on the water, terrified of spilling it. But by the time he reached his room and set the bucket down and looked again, the moon was gone. There was only dark water. He ran back to the well, and there it was again, floating calm and whole on the surface. Again he drew it up. Again it vanished by the time he carried it inside. 3 times he tried, and 3 times the moon slipped away, until at last he sat down by the well, exhausted and near tears, certain he was too clumsy or too foolish ever to hold what he wanted. The old gardener, who rose early and had been watching from the shadows of the eaves, came and sat beside the boy. He did not laugh. He looked up at the sky, where the real moon hung serene above the temple roof, pouring its light down over everything without being asked, over the well and the courtyard and the tiles and the boy and the gardener alike. Then he said, very kindly, that the boy had been trying to carry home what was already shining on him. The moon in the well, he said, was never the moon. It was only the moon's reflection. And you cannot carry a reflection because it is not a thing to be owned. But you do not need to carry it. Look up. The light you were trying to capture in a bucket has been falling on your face this whole time, freely, for nothing. It was never far away. It was never something to be earned or kept. It was only something to be received. Let that settle into you in the warm dark. How much of your tiredness comes from trying to carry home, in a small, trembling bucket, things that were always meant to be received freely? Peace, rest, a quiet mind, the very calm you have been chasing all evening, lowering your bucket again and again into the well, certain it is something you must capture and hold before you are allowed to sleep. But calm is not in the bucket. It is not a thing you can grasp and store. It is more like the moonlight, already falling on you, already here. The moment you stop running back and forth to the well and simply lie still and let it land. This is the gentle awareness we keep returning to. It is not something you build by effort, not something you draw up and carry off to keep. It is the light that was already on your face, The simple knowing that you are breathing, that you are warm, that the night is around you, that you are safe enough to rest. You need not manufacture that knowing. You need not hold it tightly for fear it will spill. It is falling on you right now, freely. And all you have to do is stop chasing it and let yourself be lit. The novice looked up at the moon for a long time that night and felt something he had been straining toward for years arrive without any strain at all. He understood, in a way that had nothing to do with thinking, that the wisdom he wanted could not be hoarded in a bucket, that it was more like light than like water, and that the wanting itself had been the very thing standing between him and the peace, the way a closed hand cannot receive what an open hand simply rests beneath. So let your hands stay open in the dark. Let your wanting soften. You do not need to seize this calm and lock it away for fear of losing it before morning. It is not yours to lose. It was never something you took. It is the light that falls on the just and the weary alike, on the watchman who finally sat down and on the traveler who finally stopped asking. On you, exactly as you are tonight, asking for nothing in return. Feel how the trying drains out of you as you accept this. The small, anxious effort to get rest right, to fall asleep correctly, to capture peace before it slips away. All of it can pour out now like water poured slowly from a bucket back into the well, returning to where it came from, leaving your hands empty and light. There is nothing to carry. Nothing needs keeping. The light is already here, and it will still be here, and you do not have to do a single thing to deserve it. Let your mind sink back down now, away from the moon and the well, back into the warm weight of the body, the way the boy finally rose from the courtyard and went to bed and slept more deeply than he had in years, not because he had captured anything, but because he had finally set down the bucket. Let your breath grow slow and even again. Let the silver light fade gently behind your eyes into soft darkness. You have nothing to hold tonight. You have only to be held. And you are. You already are. Into that soft darkness, from somewhere far down the mountain, imagine a single low note. The deep voice of a temple bell struck once at dusk. You do not have to picture it sharply. Just let the sound arrive, round and warm, and spread out through the evening air the way a ripple spreads across a pond, growing wider and fainter, until you are no longer sure whether you are hearing it or only remembering it. There was a young monk whose task it was to ring that bell each evening, and he was troubled by a small question that grew larger the more he sat with it. He went to his teacher and asked where the sound of the bell went after it faded. "It rang so clearly," he said, "and filled the whole valley, and then it thinned and softened and was gone." And he could not understand where it had gone, or whether it had ever really been a thing at all. The teacher told him to ring the bell that evening and to listen, not to the bell, but to what came after. So at dusk, the monk took up the wooden striker and swung it, and the great bronze bell gave its deep note, and the sound poured out over the rooftops and the trees and the darkening fields. And then, as the teacher had said, he listened to what came after. He listened as the loud note softened to a hum, and the hum thinned to a whisper, and the whisper dissolved into something so faint he could not tell where it ended. And there, at the very edge of hearing, He noticed something he had never noticed in all his years of ringing the bell. He noticed the silence. Not an empty silence, not a nothing, but a vast and living quiet that had been there the whole time, underneath the sound, holding it, and that remained perfectly undisturbed after the sound was gone. The teacher found him still sitting there in the dark a long while later, and the monk said that he understood now. The sound had not gone anywhere, he said, because the sound was never the important thing. The silence was always there, before the bell and after the bell, and the bell had only made him notice it for a moment. The teacher nodded and said that the mind is the same. Thoughts ring out like the bell and fade, loud for a while and then gone, and we chase after them, wondering where they went. But the thing worth resting in was never the thoughts. It was the quiet they rise from and fall back into, the awareness underneath that does not come and go, but was there before this thought and will be there after the next one, holding all of it the way the evening holds the dying note of the bell. Let yourself listen for that quiet now, the way the monk did, not by straining your ears, but by softening them. Beneath the small sounds of the room, beneath the faint hum that is always somewhere in the dark, there is a deeper stillness, and you can let your attention rest down into it. You need not make the stillness. It is already there. Your thoughts have been ringing out all evening, loud and then soft, and each one has faded. And beneath every one of them, this quiet has been waiting, patient, unbroken. The same quiet that was here when you were a child falling asleep. The same quiet that will be here long after this night. There is such rest in noticing that. The thoughts can keep ringing if they wish. There is no need to stop the bell. You only have to remember that you are not the bell. You are the silence it sounds within, the wide and open quiet that nothing has ever managed to fill or break. A worry rings out. Listen to it fade. A memory rings out. Listen to it fade. And underneath each fading, feel the stillness that holds steady, that does not rise or fall, that asks nothing and fears nothing, into which everything dissolves and is at peace. Feel how your breath fits inside that quiet. Each exhale a soft sound that rises and thins and is gone. Each pause a small silence between. You are made of this rhythm, sound and silence, sound and silence, and the silence is always the larger part. Let your breathing grow even quieter now, so quiet that the spaces between the breaths grow long and soft. And in those spaces, let yourself rest fully, the way the valley rested after the bell, with nothing more to hear and nothing more to do. The young monk rang the bell every evening for the rest of his long life, and he never again wondered where the sound went, because he had stopped mistaking the sound for the truth. He had found the quiet that holds all sound, and once a person has rested there even once, they carry the memory of it, and they can return to it on any night, in any darkness, simply by listening past the noise of the mind to the stillness underneath. And notice, as you rest here, how the quiet asks nothing of you in return. It does not need you to keep it. It does not thin if you stop attending to it, the way a held breath thins. or grow loud if you ignore it. It is simply there, steady and whole, the most patient thing in the world. The sounds of your life have risen against it for as long as you have lived, the laughter and the weeping, the words and the worries, every conversation and every long night, and the quiet has held them all and kept none of them. No more troubled by your busiest day than the night sky is troubled by a single bird crossing it. You can lean your whole weariness against something that steady. You can let it take the weight that the small, tired part of you has been carrying, and feel how willingly it accepts it, how it was always large enough, how there was never any danger of filling it up or wearing it out. You can return to it now. Let the last imagined note of the bell fade out completely. Let your thoughts thin like that faint, distant hum, until you are no longer certain they are there at all. And rest in what remains, the warm and living quiet that needs no bell to call it into being, that was here before you lay down, and will still be here when you wake. The gentle awareness underneath everything, holding you in the dark as faithfully as the evening holds a fading sound. There is nothing more to listen for. Nothing must be heard. You can let the silence be enough, and let it carry you, the way it carried that long, low note down the mountain and out over the sleeping fields, until it became one with the night itself. Breathe out, slowly, into the quiet, and let the quiet keep you. As that quiet carries you, let it carry you gently out of the dark temple and into the grey light just before dawn, when the fields below the mountain are wet with dew and the world is the colour of soft ash, neither night nor morning, the hour when everything is still, half asleep. In one of those fields, there was a young herder who had been given the care of a single ox, a great, patient animal that meant everything to his family. He loved the ox and feared losing it, and so he watched it constantly, and whenever it wandered even a little toward the trees or the stream or the far corner of the field, he would run after it, waving his arms, shouting, driving it back to where he thought it should be. But the more he chased, the more the ox shied away from him, trotting off in alarm, and the more it fled, the harder he ran, until both of them were exhausted, and the morning was half gone, and the boy was frantic, certain that one day the ox would bolt for good, and he would have failed everyone who depended on him. An old farmer who lived at the edge of the field had watched this happen morning after morning, and one day he came and leaned on the fence beside the boy, who stood there panting, red-faced, near tears. The farmer did not tell him he was doing it wrong. He only asked the boy a quiet question. He asked what the ox wanted. The boy did not understand. The farmer said, "Watch." And he told the boy to do nothing at all, to simply stand at the fence and let the ox be. So the boy stood still, though every part of him itched to chase. And he watched. And the ox, no longer pursued, slowed. It lowered its great head and cropped a little grass. It wandered toward the stream, and the boy's heart leapt with the urge to run, but the farmer laid a hand on his arm, and so he stayed. And the ox drank at the stream and stood a while in the cool water, and then, in its own time, with no one driving it, it turned and walked slowly back into the middle of the field and lay down in the long grass, content, exactly where the boy had been trying to force it to stay all along. The ox had never wanted to escape. It had only been fleeing the chasing. Left in peace, it came home on its own. There is something in this for the restless mind at night. So often we chase our own thoughts the way the boy chased the ox. A worry strays toward the corner of the field, and we run after it, trying to wrestle it back into place, and the running only startles it into bolting further. And we lie there, exhausted by our own pursuit, more awake at the end than we were at the start. We chase sleep itself this way, driving toward it, demanding it come. And the demanding is the very thing that frightens it off, the way the shouting frightened the ox. We are so busy chasing that we never simply stand at the fence and let the field grow quiet. This night you can put down the chasing. You can stand still at the fence of your own mind and let the thoughts wander where they will, trusting, as the farmer trusted, that left unpursued, they will slow on their own. A thought drifts toward the far trees, and you do not run after it. A worry moves toward the stream, and you let it drink there and grow calm. You are not abandoning your mind by ceasing to chase it. You are doing the opposite. You are finally letting it come home and sleep. Like the ox, was never trying to escape you. It was only fleeing the effort, the demand, the frantic pursuit. Stop chasing it, and it will turn, in its own time, and lie down in the long grass beside you. Feel how much of your tiredness has come from chasing. The body knows the difference between effort and rest, and so much of the mind's nighttime work is effort disguised as trying to relax. A running back and forth across the dark field, herding thoughts that were never going anywhere dangerous. You can let your arms fall. You can stop waving them at the shadows. You can lean on the fence and let your breath slow. And watch, with soft eyes, as the field of your mind grows still by itself. The way the morning grows light, not by being commanded to, but simply because that is what mornings do. The boy learned, over the seasons that followed, a kind of herding that looked like doing almost nothing. He would walk the ox to the field and then sit beneath a tree, and the ox would graze and wander and return. And they grew so easy with each other that people said the boy had a gift, when really he had only stopped fighting what the animal already knew how to do. The ox knew how to be an ox. The boy's whole task had been to get out of its way. Your mind, too, knows how to rest. It knew before you ever learned to worry about it. Beneath all the chasing, it knows how to grow quiet and lie down in the dark, the way it did when you were small, and sleep simply took you, without strategy, without struggle. You need not teach it. You only have to stop driving it and let the long grass of the night receive it. So lean on the fence now. Let the field go quiet in the gray dawn light. Let the great patient ox of your mind wander and drink and find its own way to the soft center of the field. And lie down there, heavy and warm and unafraid, with nothing chasing it, nothing demanding anything of it. Free at last to simply rest where it always meant to be. And as you stand there at the fence, notice how the dawn does not rush. The light comes into the field by degrees, gentle and unhurried, touching the wet grass, warming the back of the resting animal, asking nothing of the morning, but that it arrive in its own time. You can let sleep come to you the same slow way, not summoned, not forced, only allowed, gathering at the edges of you, the way light gathers at the edge of a field, until without any effort at all, you find that it has reached the center, and you are warm and still and held. Let your hands lie open. The chasing is over. The field will keep its own peace now, and so can you. Let the warmth of that brightening field stay with you as the story dissolves, and let it become the warmth of the blankets, the warmth of your own slow blood, the warmth of a room sealed against the night. We can set the teachings down again for a while. There is no need to think now, no need to follow anything. Let the mind grow simple. Let it become as plain and uncomplicated as a single ember glowing in a low hearth, asking for nothing, giving its small, steady warmth to the dark. Outside, wherever you are, there may be a little wind, or there may be stillness. But either way, the night is large and cool and far away, and you are here, inside the warmth, wrapped and safe. Feel the contrast for a moment. The vast, cool dark outside, and the small, warm world of your bed. And let the contrast make the warmth sweeter. There is an old comfort in being warm while the night is cold beyond the walls. A comfort older than language. The comfort of the cave and the fire. Of being gathered in out of the weather. Of having, for this one night, everything you need within arm's reach, and nothing you must go out to find. Let your breath be the slow movement of that warmth. Breathe in, and feel the air come gently into you. And breathe out, and feel the warmth spread a little further through your chest, your belly, your limbs, as if each exhale loosened one more small knot, and let the heat pool where the knot had been. You are not breathing to accomplish anything. You are breathing the way a sleeping creature breathes, deep and unhurried, the body taking exactly what it needs and releasing the rest, over and over, with no one keeping count. Notice the weight of you again, heavier now than when the night began. The body grows heavier as it lets go, and yours has been letting go for a long while now, sinking through the gates and the lakes and the fields of these stories down into something quieter underneath. Let it keep sinking. Let your head be heavy on the pillow, so heavy that the pillow seems to rise up to meet it, cradling the whole weight of your thoughts so that you no longer have to. Let your shoulders be heavy, melted down and wide. Let your arms be so heavy that lifting even a finger would be more than you wish to do, and so you do not, and there is nothing you need to lift. If there is any holding left anywhere in you, let this slow warmth find it. Sometimes the holding hides in small places, in the muscles around the eyes, in the hands, in the soft place at the base of the throat, in the belly that has spent the day braced against the world. You do not have to hunt for it. The warmth will reach it on its own. The way heat from a fire reaches every corner of a small room without being directed there. Just breathe and let the warmth travel, and feel the bracing soften wherever it has been hiding. The body remembering, layer by layer, that the day is over and the bracing can stop. There is a kind of tiredness that is heavy and unwelcome, the tiredness of a long day endured. And there is another kind, the good and deepening heaviness of a body sinking gladly towards sleep, the limbs growing pleasantly weighted, the mind growing pleasantly dim. Tonight, you can let the first kind become the second. You can let the day's weariness turn, like iron warmed in a fire, from something hard into something soft and yielding. And then let even that go slack in your hands. You have carried enough. You set the ox herding down at the fence. You set the chasing down in the field. Now you can set down the body's long bracing too, and let it be simply a warm and breathing weight in the dark. Let the breath grow slower still. Let the out-breath be longer than the in, the way it naturally becomes when sleep is near. A long, soft sigh that empties you and leaves you, for a moment at the end, beautifully empty, with nothing held, before the next breath arrives all on its own to fill you again. You need not make that next breath come. It will come. It has always come. The trust you can place in your own breathing is the same trust you can place in the night, in the bed, in the ground beneath the house, in the long turning of the dark toward morning. All of it will hold without your help. All of it is holding now. Feel how the room itself seems to soften as you sink. The edges of things losing their sharpness. The line between waking and sleeping growing thin and blurred and unimportant. There is no need to decide when to cross it. You need not try to fall asleep, which is only one more chasing, one more running across the field. You have only to keep being warm and heavy and slow, and let the crossing happen to you the way the tide comes in over warm sand, not all at once, but unstoppably, inch by inch, until the water that was far away is suddenly all around you, and you are lifted and carried without ever having felt yourself begin to float. So be warm, be heavy, be slow. Let the ember of your awareness glow low and steady in the dark, asking for nothing, giving its small light to no one, content simply to burn gently down toward rest. And if any sound reaches you from the world outside, a car far off, the wind testing a window, a creak in the settling house, let it stay out there where it belongs, distant and unimportant, a sound from a country you are slowly leaving. You need not attend to it. It is part of the cool, wide night, and you are not in the night. You are in the warm, small center of things, the way an ember sits in the heart of the ash. Let the sounds grow farther away with each breath, as if the room were drifting quietly downstream, carrying you with it. The noises of the day thinning behind you, until there is only the warmth and the weight and the long, slow tide of the breath. There is nothing more to do tonight, nothing more to be. There is only this warmth and this weight and this breath, carrying you down and down and gently down. Let the drifting room slow, and let a soft mist rise around it, the kind of mist that gathers in a valley in the deep part of the night, when the world is at its most quiet and even the stars seem to be resting. In that mist, the sharp shapes of things grow gentle. Nothing is lost, but nothing presses on you either. Everything you have moved through tonight is still here, somewhere in the soft grey. Near but not demanding, the way the furniture of a familiar room is near you in the dark, even when you cannot see it. Somewhere in that mist, if you listen, there is still a lamp burning low in a doorway. The small warm light we left at the very beginning, still steady, still patient, no longer something you must walk toward, because the warmth has already reached you where you lie. And there is a great old gate, barred and heavy, holding itself shut without anyone's watching. The danger long past. The keeper finally resting his soft eyes on the moonlit slope. You do not have to guard anything. You learned that already, and your body has not forgotten. The mist drifts, and there is the still water of a high lake, smooth again now, the geese long flown, holding the whole night sky on its surface and keeping none of it. The way your mind can hold a passing thought and let it cross and remain unbroken underneath. And there, reflected in that water, or hanging above it, is the moon you need not carry, pouring its light freely on your upturned face. The calm you stopped chasing, because it was never something to be caught, only something to be received. And it is being received now, falling on you for nothing, as it always did. Through the mist comes the faint memory of a low bell, its sound long faded, leaving behind the wide and living quiet that holds everything and is broken by nothing. The stillness underneath the thoughts that was here before you were born. And out in the gray fields, a great, patient animal lies resting in the long grass, no longer chased, having found its own slow way to the soft center of the field, the way your restless mind is finding its own slow way down into rest, unforced, unhurried, coming home. You do not need to hold any of these in your hands. You do not need to remember them in the morning, or understand what they mean, or carry a single lesson from this long night into the next day. They are not weights to be picked up. They are more like companions gathered quietly around you in the mist, each one a small reminder of the same gentle thing, that the awareness which keeps you safe does not strain, that it was always here, that it asks nothing of you. But you are held tonight, whether you do anything about it or not. Feel how they soften together now, all the images blurring into one warm presence in the grey quiet. The way separate lamps in a far village blur into a single glow when seen through fog. There is no need to keep them apart or keep them straight. Let them merge. Let the gate and the lake and the moon and the bell and the field become simply this: a feeling of being safely surrounded, of having walked a long, gentle road and arrived somewhere kind, somewhere where nothing further is required of you. And notice, as the mist holds you, that you are more tired now than when we began. But it is the good tiredness, the deepening kind, the heaviness of someone close to sleep. The thinking part of you has grown quiet without your forcing it. Whole stretches of this night you have followed only with the soft edge of your attention, drifting in and out. And that is exactly right. That is the current carrying you. That is the field receiving the ox. You have not failed to pay attention. You have succeeded in beginning to let go. Let the mist grow thicker and softer. Let the images recede into it one by one, not vanishing, only settling. The way the last embers settle into ash, still warm, no longer needing to be tended. The lamp can dim. The gate can stand. The water can lie still. The moon can shine on, unwatched. The bell's quiet can go on holding everything. The animal can sleep in the field. And you, in the warm center of the mist, can let the last of your waking effort dissolve into the gray, until there is no edge anymore between the stories and the night, between the night and your breathing, between your breathing and sleep. There is a turning that happens around now in any long, gentle night, a quiet shift from doing towards simply being carried. And you may feel yourself near it, near the place where you no longer need the stories at all, where the words can become a soft sound in a warm room, and you can let them go on without you. That is not a falling away. That is the whole purpose. You came here to be carried into rest, and the carrying is beginning to take over, gentle and sure, the way the deep mist takes over a valley until the whole world is wrapped and hushed and waiting only for morning. And there is no test at the end of this. No one will ask you what the stories meant. No one will check whether you stayed awake for all of them or remembered which came first. The mist does not keep score. It only holds. This night, you can be the kind of student who learns by drifting, who takes in the warmth and lets the words slip past, who understands with the body what the mind is too tired to hold. That is the oldest and gentlest way of learning anything that matters, not by gripping it, but by being near it long enough, softly enough, that it settles into you on its own while you rest. So let yourself be wrapped. Let the mist close softly around the warm shape of you. There is nothing left to gather, nothing left to keep, nothing left to do but breathe and grow heavier, and let the soft gray carry you the rest of the way down, toward the place we are turning toward now, where you will be given full and gentle permission to drift, to forget, and to sleep. Out of the soft gray of the mist, a slow river appears, wide and dark and gentle, moving so quietly that you can barely tell it moves at all. And here, at the middle of this long night, I want to say something to you plainly, the way a friend might lean close in the dark and say one simple thing before letting you rest. You do not need to follow the rest of these words. Not really. From here on, you can let them become like the sound of this river, a soft and constant murmur, present but not requiring you. A current you can float upon without ever once needing to swim. You have come a long way already. You need not stay awake for the rest. If sleep wants to take you in the next few minutes, let it. If your mind drifts off mid-sentence and you lose the thread entirely, that is not a mistake. That is the whole gift of this night arriving. There is no part of this you must finish. There is no story you must hear to the end. You are allowed to leave at any moment, into sleep, the way a tired traveler is allowed to lie down beside the road and rest, and no one thinks the less of them. And the road waits, patient, for whenever they wake. So let yourself be set upon the river. Imagine, if it helps, that you are lying in a small, flat boat, warm and covered, and that the boat is already drifting, with no oars, with no need of oars, carried by a current that knows exactly where it is going and asks nothing of you but to lie still and be carried. You need not steer. You do not have to watch the banks. You need not know how far you have come or how far there is to go. The river has carried countless sleepers down into rest, all through the long history of tired people lying down at the end of their days. And it knows the way in the dark far better than your weary mind ever could. Feel how the boat rocks, the smallest gentle motion, the way a cradle moves, the way the body sways when someone who loves you carries you while you sleep. With each breath, the boat rises a little and settles a little, rises and settles, and the current slides on beneath, smooth and unhurried, taking you past dark banks where the trees lean down, past the soft lights of villages where others are sleeping too, past everything, toward the wide and quiet place where the river meets the sea of sleep, and there is no more banks, no more shape, only the gentle, endless dark. You may notice your thoughts growing strange now, the way they do at the edge of sleep. Half a memory becoming half a dream, a face you know becoming a place you have never been, the logic of the day loosening and floating apart. Do not be troubled by it. That loosening is the doorway. That is the mind beginning to let go of its grip on the waking world. The way a hand opens in sleep and the held thing slips gently free. There is no need to make sense of anything anymore. The making of sense can stop now. Let the images drift and merge as they please. Let them carry you the way the river carries the boat, with no destination you must reach and no meaning you must find. And if you are still here, still listening, still a little too awake, that is perfectly all right as well. There is no schedule. Some nights sleep comes quickly, and some nights it takes its slow time. And both are fine, and neither is a failure. You can lie here in the drifting boat for as long as it takes, warm and patient, with nothing to do but breathe and be carried, and trust that the river is taking you somewhere good, even on the nights when the somewhere is slow to arrive. The not yet sleeping is also rest, if you let it be, if you stop fighting it, if you lie in the boat and let the current do the work. Notice how little is asked of you now. Not understanding, not effort, not even staying awake. The whole second half of this long night will go on gently around you, whether you hear it or not. The way a river goes on flowing past a sleeping traveler all night long. And you are welcome to hear it, or welcome to leave it. And either way, you are held. Either way, you are carried. Either way, you are exactly where you are meant to be. This is the turning of the night, the place where doing becomes being carried, where the listener becomes the one who is rocked to sleep. Let your breath be the slow rocking of the boat. Let your thoughts be the soft murmur of the water. Let the warmth of the blankets be the warmth of being covered against the night air on the river. Tucked in, looked after, safe. Nothing on either bank needs you. There is no harm in the dark water. There is only the long, kind current, carrying you the way it has always carried the weary. Down past all the sleeping villages, down toward the wide quiet, down into the place where you can finally, fully let go. And should you wake again in the small hours, as people sometimes do, you can remember this boat and find it waiting for you, exactly where you left it, the current still moving, the warmth still gathered around you. You need not begin the whole night over. You have only to lie back again and let the river take you up where it left off. The way you can set down a familiar story and pick it up later without losing your place. Because your place was never in the words. Your place was always here, in the drifting, in the being carried, in the soft certainty that you are held by something that does not tire and does not stop and asks nothing of you but to rest. The river was flowing before you lay down. It will be flowing still when you wake. You can trust it with the whole long middle of the night. So let go. Lie back in the drifting boat. Let the river have you. You need not do anything at all from here. You only have to be carried. And you are being carried, gently, surely, all the way down towards sleep. The river slows, as all rivers slow when they near a resting place, and the drifting boat draws gently toward a bank where a small house stands with its door open and a soft light within. Let your mind step out of the boat and into that quiet house, which has no owner you need to find and no rent you need to pay. It is simply a warm room with an open door, and you may rest in it as long as you like. There is an old teaching, told many different ways across many lands, that compares the mind to a house of this kind, a kind of inn beside a road, where all sorts of travelers come and go. Some travelers are joyful, and some are sorrowful. Some arrive in fine clothes, and some in rags. Some are welcome guests, and some are difficult ones, and they knock at all hours, including the deep hours of the night. The old teaching says that the wise innkeeper does not bar the door against the difficult guests, nor cling to the pleasant ones when it is time for them to leave. The iron keeper simply keeps the room warm and the door open, and lets each one come and lets each one go, and remains after they have all passed through the same quiet room they passed through. Your thoughts are travelers like these. All evening they have been arriving at the door of your awareness, the cheerful ones and the troubled ones, the memories and the worries, and the strange half-dreams that come near sleep. And perhaps you have been treating some of them as intruders to be kept out, and clinging to others, trying to make the good feelings stay. But you are not the travelers. You are the room. You are the warm and open space they pass through, and you do not have to entertain a single one of them tonight. You need not rise and serve the guest of tomorrow's worries. You do not have to argue with the guest of an old regret. You can let them sit by the fire if they wish, and you can let them leave when they are ready. And you, the room, can simply remain, warm and quiet and unchanged. Feel how spacious that makes you. All this time, you may have believed you were your thoughts, that the anxious thought was you, that the restless mind was your true self that had to be fixed before you could rest. But notice, even now, that you are aware of the thoughts. Something in you watches them come and go, and that something is wider and quieter than any thought that passes through it. You can rest as that, not as the busy traveler hurrying through, but as the still room that holds the whole comings and goings without being disturbed by any of it. A worried thought arrives at the door. You need not turn it away, and you need not follow it down the road. You can let it stand in the warm room for a moment, acknowledged, and then watch it drift back out into the night, as guests do, on its own. A pleasant memory arrives. You can enjoy its warmth without grasping after it, knowing that it too will move on, and that the room will still be warm when it is gone. There is a deep relief in ceasing to be the doorkeeper who must judge every guest. You can let the door stand open. Nothing that comes through it can harm the room. And here is the gentlest part of the teaching. In the deep night, when sleep is near, even the innkeeper may rest. The room does not need anyone to tend it. The open door does not need to be watched. The fire of awareness burns low and steady on its own, and the travelers may come and go all night through a room whose keeper has long since drifted to sleep in the warm corner, and no harm is done. And in the morning, the room is still there, and so is the keeper, rested. You can let yourself be that sleeping keeper now. You can let your thoughts wander in and out of the open door of your mind, while the deeper part of you sleeps in the warm corner, untroubled, unneeded, finally at rest. Let your breath move through you the way the night air moves softly through the open door, in and out, cool and then warm, carrying nothing it must hold. With each breath, feel yourself settle more fully into being the room rather than the traveler, the space rather than the thing that passes through it. The space was here before any thought arrived tonight. The space will be here after the last one has gone. The space is what you most truly are, and the space is already perfectly at rest, has always been at rest, needs nothing from you to make it so. The travelers may grow fewer now, as they do toward the deep of the night. Fewer thoughts knock at the door. The road outside grows quiet, and the warm room, with its low and steady fire, settles into the long stillness it was always meant for. The stillness it holds even when it is full, made plain at last, now that it is nearly empty. You are that stillness. You are that warmth. You are the open, undisturbed space in which a whole life of thoughts has come and gone. And you can rest in yourself, the way a tired keeper finally rests in the corner of a room that needs no keeping. So let the door stand open. Let the fire burn low. Let whatever wishes to come, come. And whatever wishes to go, go. And let yourself sink, as the keeper sinks, into the soft and certain knowledge that you are the room, and the room is safe, and the room may sleep. Nothing at the door needs you. There is only the warm and open quiet of your own awareness, holding the whole night gently, asking nothing, and ready, at last, to rest. And if a guest you would rather not see comes knocking, some old worry that has visited you before, you can meet even that one as the room meets all its travelers, without fear. It cannot stay longer than you let it. It cannot take the room with it when it goes. It is only passing through, as everything passes through, and the room remains. You have weathered the visits of every difficult guest you have ever known, and here you still are, the same quiet space, unbroken by any of them. That is not a small thing. That is the deepest safety there is, and it is yours, and it was never something you had to build. Breathe, and be the room. Let the travelers see themselves out. You can sleep in the warm corner now, while awareness keeps its own soft watch, the kind that needs no watching at all. In one warm room of that quiet house, by the light of a single candle, there is a low table, and on the table, a sheet of pale paper, a stone for grinding ink, and a brush resting in its holder. Let your mind drift there, to the still studio of an old calligrapher on a night long ago, and watch what unfolds in the soft light, slowly, with no hurry at all. The calligrapher was famous in his region for a single character he painted, the symbol that meant stillness, or peace, or rest, depending on who read it. People traveled far to ask him for it, to hang in their homes. A young student had come to study with him, eager to learn the secret of how the old man made one simple character so alive that people wept to look at it. The student practiced for hours every day. He filled sheet after sheet, adding flourishes, adding pressure, adding extra strokes to make the character grander, more impressive, more complete. And the more he added, the deader the character looked, until his floor was covered with crumpled paper and he was near despair. One evening, he watched the master work. The old man ground the ink slowly, in silence, taking what seemed an unreasonably long time until the student grew restless. Then the master sat and breathed and was still for a long moment, doing nothing, the loaded brush hovering. And then, in a single unhurried motion, he made one stroke across the paper, lifted the brush, and set it down. That was all. He did not go back to thicken it. He did not add a flourish. He did not study it and correct it. He simply looked at it for a breath, then rose and went to make tea, leaving the character to dry, finished, in the candlelight. And the student saw that it was alive, that it breathed, that it held the whole of stillness in one quiet line, precisely because nothing had been added to it. When the student asked how the master kept himself from adding more, the old man said that the character was complete the moment the brush left the paper, and that everything added after completion was only fear dressed up as effort. The hardest part of the art, he said, was not the making of the stroke. It was the trusting that the stroke was enough, and the laying down of the brush. Most people, he said, do not suffer from doing too little. They suffer from not knowing when they have done enough, and so they keep adding, keep striving, keep correcting, long after the thing was already whole. Let that reach you in the dark. How much of your weariness comes not from what you have failed to do, but from not trusting that what you have done is enough? You lie down at the end of the day, and the mind reaches for the brush again, wanting to go back over the day's strokes, to thicken this conversation, to correct that decision, to add one more worry to make tomorrow more complete. But the day is finished. The brush has already left the paper. Everything you reach to add now is only fear wearing the clothes of effort. And it will not make the day more alive. It will only smudge your rest. You can lay down the brush. You can let the day stand as it is, complete in its imperfection. The single stroke already made and already enough. You did what you could today. Some strokes were clean and some were clumsy, as it is for everyone, and none of them need to be gone over again tonight. The character of this day is finished and drying in the candlelight, and the kindest thing you can do, the most skillful thing, is to rise quietly, as the master did, and go make tea, and leave it be. Feel the contentment in that, the deep ease of enough. Not the exhaustion of having done too much, and not the anxiety of having done too little, but the quiet middle place of having done enough and knowing it, and resting there. Your breath, too, is enough. It does not need to be deeper or slower or more perfect. Each breath you take tonight is a single, finished stroke, complete the moment it is made, needing nothing added. Let them come one at a time, each one whole, each one enough, and let the spaces between them be the master's silence, the long, unhurried pause before nothing more is required. The student went on to become a fine calligrapher himself, but the thing he treasured most from those years was not a technique. It was the memory of an old man laying down a brush and walking away while the ink was still wet, content, trusting, unhurried, at peace with a thing that was simply finished. He carried that into the rest of his life, the art of knowing when to stop, the courage to call a thing complete and let it be. You can carry it into this night. The day is one finished stroke. Your effort is laid down with the brush. There is nothing more to add, nothing more to correct, nothing more to make whole. You are already enough, exactly as you are, lying here in the dark, breathing your single, complete breaths. And the most skillful thing you can do now is to rest in that enoughness and let the night dry quietly around you. Perfect because nothing more is being added to it. And notice how the body answers when you stop adding. The shoulders, which rise a little each time the mind reaches back toward the day, can settle when the reaching stops. The brow, which gathers when there is one more thing to fix, can smooth when you decide there is not. Let your decision tonight be the simplest one, the one the old master made without words. It is finished. It is enough. Feel that decision travel down through you, like warmth spreading through paper as the ink settles, loosening the jaw, softening the hands, letting the whole frame grow heavy with the relief of a task set down. You are not leaving anything undone by resting. You are honoring a thing already complete by ceasing to disturb it. That is not laziness. That is the deepest respect. The respect the master paid his own work by walking away while it was still wet. Let the candle burn low. Let the brush stay in its holder. The character of today is complete. You can rest now, in the deep contentment of a thing well and fully finished. Beyond the warm room, a door opens onto a small night garden where the air is cool and green-smelling, and the dark shapes of plants stand quiet under the stars. Let your mind step out into it for a while, barefoot on the soft earth, and meet a monk who came to that garden long ago, carrying a quiet sorrow he had told no one. The sorrow was this: no matter how he tried, his mind would not stay still in meditation. It wandered constantly, to the past, to the future, to 100 small things, and each time he noticed it had wandered, he scolded himself. He told himself he was failing, that he lacked discipline, that a true practitioner would have a quiet mind by now. And the scolding made him tense, and the tension made the mind wander more. And so he wandered and scolded, growing more discouraged with every passing season, until he had begun to dread the very stillness he longed for. The old teacher who kept the garden found him there one night, sitting rigid and unhappy beneath a tree, and asked him gently what troubled him. The monk confessed it all: his wandering mind, his failure, his harshness with himself. The teacher listened, and then, instead of offering a technique, He led the monk to a row of young seedlings he had planted that spring. Some were tall and strong, some were small and slow. One had barely come up at all. The teacher asked the monk what he thought should be done with the slow ones. Should they be shouted at? Should they be scolded for failing to grow as fast as the others? Should they be pulled up by the roots and shamed? The monk almost laughed. "Of course not," he said. "You cannot scold a seedling into growing. You give it water and light and time and patience, and you protect it, and you wait, and it grows in its own season, or it does not. But the shouting would only break it." The teacher nodded, and then he asked, very softly, why the monk treated his own mind with less kindness than he would show the smallest seedling in the garden. The monk had no answer. He sat for a long time among the young plants, and something in him began to soften that had been hard for years. He saw that his wandering mind was not a failure to be punished, but a tender, living thing to be tended. That the noticing of the wandering was itself the water and the light, and that the scolding had been the one thing that never helped. The shouting at a seedling, the pulling at a root. He saw that he could meet his own restless mind the way the gardener met the slow seedling, with patience, with warmth, with the willingness to wait through many seasons, and that this gentleness was not weakness at all, but the very condition in which anything quiet has ever grown. Let that softness reach you now, lying here in the dark. If your mind has wandered tonight many times, away from the breath, away from these words, into the worries and the lists and the half-dreams, you do not need to scold it. The wandering is not a failure. It is what minds do, what they have always done, what the gentlest masters' minds did too. And each time you noticed and came back, softly, that noticing was the tending. That returning was the water and the light. You have not been failing to rest. You have been learning, the slow and only way anyone learns, by wandering off and being welcomed back, again and again, with kindness. So let the scolding voice grow quiet, if it has been speaking. The one in you that says you are doing this wrong, that you should be asleep by now, that everyone else finds rest more easily. That voice can be met the way the teacher met the monk, not argued with, not silenced by force, but simply seen with compassion, the way you would see a tired child saying harsh things only because it is overwhelmed. You can lay a gentle hand on that voice. You can let it know that it is allowed to be tired, allowed to be imperfect, allowed to wander, and that nothing is required of it tonight but to rest among the other slow and tender growing things. Feel how the body unclenches when the harshness leaves it. So much tension we carry is not from the world, but from our own scolding, the long inner shouting that we mistake for discipline. Let it stop now. Let your breath be the patient watering of a garden, slow and unhurried, asking nothing of the seedlings, but giving them what they need. Shown. Let your warmth be the warmth of someone tending something they love, and let the thing you are tending so gently tonight be yourself, this tired, wandering, wholly ordinary self that has done its best and deserves, more than anything, to be met with mercy. The monk slept soundly that night, for the first time in years. Not because his mind had finally gone still, but because he had finally stopped fighting it. And in the not fighting, the stillness he had chased for so long quietly arrived on its own. the way a garden grows quiet after the gardener stops pacing and simply sits among the plants in the dark. You can let your mind be that garden now, in whatever state it is in. The tall growth and the slow growth and the bare patches, all welcome, all tended, all allowed. Be gentle with the gardener. Be gentle with the seedlings. Be gentle with the whole, soft, living, imperfect garden of yourself, and let it grow quiet in its own time, watered by your kind attention, warmed by your patience, asked for nothing, scolded for nothing, free at last to simply rest and grow toward morning. And if kindness toward yourself feels unfamiliar, as it does for so many tired people, you can begin with something very small. You can simply soften the muscles of your own face, the way you would smooth a worried crease from the brow of someone you loved. You can let your next breath out a little more slowly, as a small mercy offered to yourself, for no reason except that you are weary and you deserve it. Kindness does not have to be a grand feeling. For now, it can be only this: the willingness to stop being hard on yourself for the space of a single breath, and then another, until the harshness has nowhere left to stand, and the garden of you is quiet under the stars, tended at last by the only gardener it ever needed, which is your own gentle attention. Breathe and be kind to yourself. The garden does not need your harshness. It only ever needed your gentleness. And your gentleness is here. From the dark garden, let your gaze lift, the way it naturally lifts on a clear night. Up past the quiet shapes of the plants, up past the roof of the old house, into the wide night sky that arches over all of it, vast and dark and scattered with soft stars. Let your mind rest there, in that great openness, while the night settles even deeper around you. Everything we have wandered through tonight has been pointing, in its own quiet way, at one simple thing. And the sky may be the easiest place to feel it. Watch how the sky holds the clouds. The clouds drift across it, sometimes thin and high, sometimes heavy and low, sometimes covering the stars entirely. They gather and they scatter, they darken and they clear. And the sky does none of this. The sky does not push the clouds along, or hold them back, or worry about which clouds are coming next. The sky simply holds them all, the storm clouds and the soft ones alike, and remains itself, open and unbroken, untouched by anything that passes through it. And when the clouds are gone, the sky has not changed at all. It was always the same, wide openness underneath. This is the gentle awareness we keep returning to, the one that does not work, that does not strain, that does not stand guard. It is the sky in you. The watchman feared he held the gate shut by watching, but the gate held itself, and the awareness in you holds the night without your effort, the way the sky holds its clouds. The traveler wanted to empty his mind of thoughts, but the lake reflected the geese and let them pass, and your awareness can let every thought cross and remain still underneath, the way the sky lets every cloud drift through and stays open. The novice tried to carry the moon home in a bucket, but the light was already falling on him, and the calm you have been seeking was always already here. The sky already wide, the openness already yours. There is no need to understand any of this, to rest in it. That is the mercy of it. The sky does not understand itself, and it holds the clouds perfectly all the same. You do not need to grasp the teaching, or remember the stories, or carry a single insight into tomorrow. You need only to be what you already are. The wide open awareness in which a whole life of weather has come and gone. The watcher who needs no watching. The room that needs no keeping. The sky that holds its clouds without the slightest effort and is never once diminished by them. Feel how that settles the mind, not by giving it something new to think, but by letting it set down the very burden of thinking. All evening, the small, busy part of you has been laboring, trying to solve the night, trying to do rest correctly, trying to capture peace. And underneath all that labor, the sky of you has been here the whole time, vast and calm and already at peace, asking nothing, needing nothing, holding the laboring itself the way it holds everything else. You can let your attention drop out of the laboring and into the sky. You can rest as the openness, rather than as the busy weather passing through it. There is a clarity in this, but it is not the sharp clarity of solving a problem. It is the soft clarity of a clear night, the kind that does not strain the eyes, the kind you can rest inside. The clouds may still drift, thoughts may still cross, but you can feel, underneath them, the steady, open space that is your true nature. The awareness that was here before this night and will be here after it. The same in waking and in sleep. The same in the busy day and the quiet dark. Never once leaving you. Never once needing you to hold it up. Let your breath move through that openness like a soft wind moving high in a clear sky. Present, but disturbing nothing. Coming and going with no one keeping count. Each thought that arises, let it be a cloud, seen and released, drifting across the wide dark and gone. And rest, again and again, in what remains when the cloud has passed. The open sky, the gentle awareness, the spacious quiet that is simply what you are when nothing is asked of you. The stars hang there in the dark, steady and far away, and they do not strive to shine. They simply are what they are, and their light reaches you across an unimaginable distance for no reason but that it is their nature to give it. Your awareness is the same. It does not strive to hold you. It simply holds you, because that is its nature, freely, asking nothing. The way the sky holds the night and the stars hold their light, and the whole vast openness above you holds everything that is, gently and forever, and without the smallest effort. So lie beneath the sky of your own awareness now, and let it hold you. Let the clouds drift where they will. Let the laboring cease. Nothing needs solving under this wide dark, and nothing to understand, and nothing to carry. There is only the open quiet, and you resting in it, and the slow stars keeping their faithful watch over a world that is finally, gently, going to sleep. And notice that this sky has been with you on every night of your life, even the nights you never looked up. It was there above the roofs of every house you have ever slept in. It was there when you were small and frightened of the dark, and there on the nights you lay awake with grown worries, holding you the whole time whether you knew it or not. You have never once been outside of it. You have never once fallen out of the wide, open awareness that is your own deepest nature, no matter how thick the clouds of a hard day grew. It held you then, it holds you now, and it will hold you through whatever weather tomorrow brings, asking nothing, the same calm openness it has always been. You can let your whole tired self lean back into that, the way a body leans back into deep grass and looks up and feels, for a moment, how small the clouds are against how wide the sky. Breathe and be the sky. The clouds will pass. The openness remains. And the openness is you. And as you rest beneath that wide sky, something begins to fall from it. Softly, the first slow flakes of snow, drifting down through the dark without a sound. Let the night turn to winter for a while, the gentlest kind of winter, and let the snow come. There is nothing to think about now. There is only the snow falling and the quiet it brings. Watch it in the dark, if you like. The way snow appears out of nothing as it nears the ground, each flake drifting slow and sideways, in no hurry, taking its whole soft time to land. It settles on the roof of the old house. It settles on the dark plants in the garden. It settles on the temple far up the mountain, and on the gate and the wall and the bell in its tower, on the still lake and the empty field, on everything we have wandered through tonight, covering it all in a soft white silence, rounding every sharp edge, hushing every sound. This is what the snow does. It muffles the world. Sounds that were sharp grow soft beneath it. The whole landscape, so full of separate things by day, becomes one quiet whiteness, gentle and unbroken. And the deepest quiet of all is the quiet of snow still falling, when you stand at a window in the night and watch it come down through the dark. And the silence is so complete that you can almost hear it, the soft hush of 1,000 flakes landing, which is not really a sound at all, but the sound of the world growing still. Let your mind grow as quiet as that snowy night. The thinking can slow now, the way everything slows in snow. You do not need any more stories. You do not need any more teachings. You have wandered far enough. And now, you can simply stand at the window of yourself and watch the soft, white quiet come down, settling over your thoughts, rounding their edges, muffling them, until the busy landscape of your mind is one gentle, unbroken stillness, soft and white and silent in the dark. Feel the breath slow with the snow. There is no hurry in a flake of snow, and there need be no hurry in your breathing. Let each breath drift down slow and soft, taking its whole time, the way the snow takes its time to fall. And between the breaths, let there be the deep hush of the snowy night, the quiet that is not empty but full of softness, full of rest, the kind of quiet that wraps a winter world while everyone inside sleeps warm beneath their blankets. The body grows heavier in this quiet, the way the world grows heavier under snow, weighted gently down, settled, still. Let the weight of the snow be the weight of your own tiredness now, no longer a burden but a soft covering, a blanket of white drifting down over you, layer upon gentle layer, pressing you kindly into rest. You need not hold anything up beneath it. The snow asks only that you be still and let it cover you. And there is a deep, old peace in being covered like that, in disappearing for a while beneath the soft, white quiet, safe and warm and hidden from everything. Notice how few thoughts come now, and how slow they are when they do. The snow has muffled them. A thought drifts up, soft and indistinct, and before you can even take hold of it, it has settled and gone quiet beneath the falling white, like a footprint filling in, like a sound fading under snow. You need not do anything with these slow, dissolving thoughts. Let the snow take them. Let it cover them gently. Let the landscape of your mind grow more and more unbroken, more and more white and still, until there is hardly anything left to see, only the soft, endless falling, and the deep hush, and the warmth of you beneath it all. There is a stillness that comes over the whole world on the deepest snowy nights, when even the animals are bedded down and the wind has dropped, and nothing moves but the slow descending white. It is one of the quietest things that exists, and you are inside it now. The whole night is hushed around you. The snow falls and asks nothing, and you, warm beneath your blankets, beneath your own soft falling quiet, can let yourself grow as still as the snowbound world, breathing slow, thinking little, sinking gently under the soft weight of rest. Let the snow keep falling. Let it cover everything. Let it cover the stories and the gate and the lake and the field. Let it cover the day behind you and the day ahead. Let it cover even the watcher in you who has stayed alert so long, until there is only the warm dark and the soft white hush, and the slow, slow breath, drifting down like snow into the deep quiet where sleep is already waiting. Picture, if any picture rises at all, a single small window high on the mountain, glowing faint and gold against the falling white, where someone lies warm and safe while the snow comes down outside. That window is you, tonight. The whole cold, turning world is out there in the dark, and the snow is settling over all of it, and you are the small, warm glow within, wrapped and kept, with the night doing its slow, soft work beyond the glass. You do not have to go out into the cold. You need not do anything at all, but be the warmth behind the window, while the snow does the rest. And the snow keeps coming, patient and endless, the way it has fallen over sleeping villages for as long as there have been villages to sleep. The way it will fall long after this night is forgotten. There is a comfort in that, in being a small, warm thing inside something so vast and so gentle and so old. Let the comfort settle over you like one more soft layer. Let your breath grow slower still, until it is hardly more than the rise and fall of the snow itself, until the line between your breathing and the falling white has blurred away to nothing. There is nothing more to do but be still and be warm, and let the white quiet come down and down and gently down, until the whole world, and you with it, has gone soft and silent and still. The snow thins and slows and finally stops. and into the quiet it leaves behind comes a soft and golden light, the light of a long day ending. Let the season turn once more, gently, from the deep of winter into a still evening in early autumn, and let one last story come, the quietest of them all, the kind that has almost no story in it at all. High on a mountain, in a small wooden hut, there lived an old monk who had spent his whole long life in practice. He had studied under many teachers in his youth and traveled far and sought hard, the way the young do, looking everywhere for the peace he longed for. And now he was very old, and his traveling was done, and he lived alone in the little hut with almost nothing: a bowl, a robe, a mat, a small fire. Each evening, when his few simple tasks were finished, he would sit in the open doorway of his hut and watch the light fade over the valley below. And he would do nothing else at all. A young seeker climbed the mountain one autumn to find him, having heard that a wise old monk lived there, and arrived just as the evening light was beginning to soften. He found the old man sitting in the doorway, utterly still, watching the valley fill with gold. The seeker was full of questions, the kind he had carried up many mountains before, about the meaning of life, about how to be free, about the secret the masters were said to know. But the old monk only smiled and gestured for him to sit, and together they watched the light. The seeker waited for a teaching. The light deepened from gold to amber, and long shadows stretched across the valley, and the first cool of evening came up from the river below, and still the old monk said nothing, only watched, his old face soft and content in the fading light. And slowly, sitting there, the seeker felt his questions begin to quiet, not answered, quieted. He had climbed the mountain so full of seeking, and now, in the presence of this old man who was so completely at peace, doing nothing but watching the evening come, the seeking itself began to seem like a fever that was finally breaking. When the last of the light had gone and the first stars had appeared, the seeker finally asked, softly, what the old monk was doing, sitting here every evening, watching the light. And the old man said, with great simplicity, that he was not doing anything. He had spent the first half of his life, he said, trying to get somewhere, to become someone, to find the peace he was sure lay just beyond the next mountain. And somewhere in the long years, without his quite noticing when, the seeking had worn itself out, and he had discovered that the peace he had chased over every mountain had been sitting in the doorway with him all along, waiting only for him to stop and watch the light. There was nothing to find, he said. There was only this, the evening coming, the light fading, the breath rising and falling, and the deep, quiet contentment of a person who finally wants nothing more than what is already here. Let that simplicity reach all the way down into you now, in the deep quiet of this night. The old monk wanted nothing. He had let the whole long fever of seeking burn out, and what remained was not emptiness, but a fullness so quiet it looked like nothing from the outside. The fullness of a man at peace in a doorway at dusk. That peace is not far away. It is not at the top of a mountain you have not yet climbed. It is here, in the simple facts of this moment, the warmth around you, the slow breath, the dark coming down, the gentle awareness watching it all and wanting nothing more. You can let your own seeking burn out tonight, the way the old monks did. Not by trying harder, but by simply sitting in the doorway of this moment and letting the light fade. There is nowhere you need to get to. There is no one you need to become before you are allowed to rest. There is only this, the evening of the day, the quiet of the night, the breath rising and falling, and you, watching it gently, wanting nothing, complete. Feel how the body softens when the wanting stops. So much of our restlessness is wanting, the low, constant reach towards something other than what is here. Let it rest now, the way the old monk let it rest. Let yourself want nothing more than this warm dark and this slow breath. And feel how, in the wanting of nothing, a deep and ancient peace quietly arrives. The peace that was always underneath the seeking. The peace of the doorway at dusk. The seeker stayed on the mountain for a time, and then went back down into the world. But he carried the old monk's evening with him for the rest of his days. The memory of a man sitting still in a doorway, wanting nothing, watching the light, more at peace than anyone he had ever met. And on his own hard nights, he would remember it, and sit in the doorway of his own quiet, and let the light fade, and want nothing, and rest. You can borrow that doorway tonight. There is no need to climb the mountain or live the long years to arrive at the old monk's peace. You can simply do, for these few breaths, what he learned to do across a lifetime, which is to stop reaching and let the day end, and be content with the small, warm facts of where you are. The breath is here. The warmth is here. The dark is here, soft and kind. That is enough. That has always been enough. The old monk's whole long life only taught him to believe what was true from the beginning, that the peace was never somewhere else, that it was always sitting quietly in the doorway, waiting for the seeking to grow tired and the watcher to grow still. So sit now in the doorway of this moment. Let the light fade all the way down. Want nothing more than what is here, and rest as the old monk rested, in the deep and simple peace of a life that has finally stopped seeking and come home. In the doorway where the old monk sat, where the light has now faded all the way to dark, a small lamp burns. The same soft lamp that was glowing in a doorway when this long night began. It has been burning quietly all this time, all through the gate and the lake, the moon and the bell, the field and the room and the garden and the snow. Faithful and unhurried, a small, warm light left for you in the dark. And now, at last, we can do something gentle with it. At the beginning of the night, you did not have to walk toward that lamp. You only had to let its warmth reach you. But there may still be a part of you that has been carrying it, holding the lamp up against the dark, the way the old watchman held his watch, certain that if you set it down, something would be lost. So let this be the moment you set it down, not blowing it out, not abandoning it, simply setting the lamp down on the ground beside you, gently, and discovering that it goes on burning all the same, that the light does not need your hand to hold it, that you can let go of carrying the light, and the light remains. This is the small ritual of release we come to near the end of every long night. One by one, you can set down the things you have been holding up against the dark. Set down the day, with all its undone tasks and unfinished conversations. It is over, and it will keep until morning, and holding it tonight changes nothing. Set down tomorrow, with all its plans and worries. It has not arrived, and it does not need you to rehearse it in the dark, and it will come whether you brace for it or not. Set down the long habit of watching, the small, tired sentinel who has stood guard so faithfully for so long. The gate holds itself. The room needs no keeping. The light burns on without your hand. Feel what it is to set each thing down, not to throw it away in frustration, but to lay it down gently, the way you would lay a sleeping child in a crib, with care, with relief, with love. There is the worry you have carried for weeks. You can lay it down beside the lamp and let it rest there in the warm light while you sleep. And you can pick it back up in the morning if you truly must, but you do not have to carry it through the night. There is the old regret, the heavy one. Lay it down too, gently, in the soft light, and let yourself be free of its weight for these few dark hours. There is even the wish to fall asleep, that last small thing you have been gripping. You can lay that down as well, and find that sleep comes more easily to open hands than to clenched ones. With each thing set down, feel the body grow lighter, the way a traveler grows light when the heavy pack finally comes off the shoulders at the end of a long road. You have been carrying so much for so long without even feeling the weight of it anymore. The way the watchman stopped feeling the knot in his chest. Let it all come off now. Let your shoulders rise free of it. Let your hands open and empty in the dark. There is nothing you must hold tonight. The lamp burns on its own. The night holds itself. And you, unburdened at last, can simply lie back into the warm dark with nothing in your hands at all. This is what the watchman finally learned on the wall, what the traveler learned by the lake, what the novice learned at the well, and the old monk learned in his doorway. The same gentle thing said a dozen quiet ways across this long night. That the deepest safety comes not from holding tighter, but from letting go. That the light we strain to carry was always burning on its own. That the awareness which keeps us is the kind that needs no keeping. You can rest in that now, completely. You can let the last of your holding fall open. There's a deep and ancient relief in surrender. The real kind. Not the surrender of defeat, but the surrender of trust. The laying down of a weight into hands larger and steadier than your own. You can trust the night to hold what you have set down. You can trust the dark and the breath and the wide, quiet awareness underneath everything to keep the small, warm light burning while you sleep. You need not hold any of it up. It is all being held, gently, by something that never tires. So set the lamp down. Open your hands. Let your shoulders fall. Let every last thing you have been carrying rest now in the soft light beside you, watched over by an awareness that asks nothing and never sleeps. You are unburdened. You are empty-handed in the best of ways. And there is nothing left to do, nothing left to hold, nothing left but to let yourself sink, light and free and finally released, into the warm dark waiting all around you. If some part of you hesitates to set everything down, afraid that letting go means not caring, you can know this gently. The things you love do not need you to hold them in the dark to keep them safe. The people you carry in your heart are sleeping in their own warm rooms, held by the same quiet that holds you, and your lying awake over them protects them not at all. To set them down for the night is not to abandon them. It is to trust, for a few dark hours, that the world is held by something larger than your worry, and to let yourself be held by it too. You can love them just as deeply with open hands as with clenched ones, and you can love them better in the morning for having rested. So let the hands stay open. Let the holding be over for tonight. Feel how the breath moves more freely through a body that is no longer braced around something it fears to drop. Each breath out carries away one more grain of what you are holding, until you are light and empty and clear. A body at rest in the warm dark, with nothing in its hands and nothing on its mind, kept safe by a light it no longer has to carry. Let go of the light. It will keep burning, and you can rest. And into the warm dark where you lie, unburdened. With the lamp set down and your hands open, a soft silver light returns, falling gently through the window onto the foot of your bed. The moonlight, come back to you at the end of the long night. Earlier, you tried to carry it home in a trembling bucket and could not, because it was never something to be caught. Now you do not reach for it at all. You simply let it fall on you, freely, for nothing, the way it always meant to. This is the thing the whole night has been carrying you toward. The gentle awareness named in the very beginning. And you can feel it now, not as an idea, but as a presence. The soft holding all around you in the dark. It is not something you are doing. Notice that. You are not working to be aware. You are not straining to stay present. The awareness is simply here, the way the moonlight is simply here, falling on you whether you reach for it or not, holding you whether you tend it or not. The kind of knowing that does not labor, the kind of watching that does not strain. The gentlest awareness, asking nothing, given freely, already yours. Feel how it surrounds you. You are aware of the warmth of the bed, and that awareness is soft, not sharp. You are aware of the slow breath, and the awareness rests on it as lightly as moonlight rests on water. You are aware of the dark room, the quiet, the weight of your own body sinking towards sleep. And the awareness holds all of it, the way the night sky holds the stars. Without effort, without strain, without needing a single thing from you. This is what was promised at the start, that you would not have to do awareness tonight, that you could let awareness hold you when you fall asleep. And here it is, doing exactly that. The soft light around you, the quiet knowing that keeps you, the gentle presence in which you are resting now. You did not have to earn this. That is the deepest part of the gift. You did not have to be good enough, or calm enough, or wise enough. You did not have to understand the stories, or remember the teachings, or quiet your mind perfectly. The moonlight does not fall on those who deserve it. It falls on everyone, on the just and the weary alike, on the watchman and the traveler, and the novice and the old monk, and on you, exactly as you are tonight, tired and imperfect, and entirely worthy of rest. The gentle awareness holds you not because you have done anything to deserve it, but simply because that is its nature, to hold, freely, the way it is the moon's nature to shine. And so the long fever of trying can rest completely now. You came to this night perhaps believing that rest was something you had to achieve, that a quiet mind was something you had to build, that peace was somewhere up ahead if only you tried hard enough to reach it. And the whole night has been gently showing you the opposite, that the peace was never ahead, it was underneath, that the rest was never something to make, it was something to allow, that the gentle awareness you were seeking was the very thing doing the seeking, here, all along, holding you the whole time. You can stop reaching for it. You are already inside it. You always were. Let yourself be held. Then, fully, the way a tired child is held and does not have to do anything but be carried. The soft light is all around you. The quiet awareness keeps you. You can let your whole weight, your whole self, your whole long day, and your whole long life rest down into that holding, trusting it completely, the way you trust the ground beneath the house and the dark above the world, and the breath that rises and falls without your asking. You are held. You have always been held. And tonight you can feel it, the gentle awareness around you like moonlight, like warmth, like the arms of something vast and kind, keeping you safe in the dark while you sleep. There is nowhere else to get to now, nothing else to become. The promise of this night is fulfilled, not in something you did, but in something you finally let yourself receive. The simple, freely given holding that was here before you lay down and will be here when you wake. You can rest in it as long as you like. It will not tire. It will not leave. It asks nothing and gives everything, and wants only for you to stop straining and let yourself be kept. And this gentle awareness does not belong only to this night. It is not a thing you found here that you must leave behind when sleep takes you, or when morning comes, or when the hard days return. It is your own nature, the sky you have always been, and it will be with you tomorrow in the noise of the day, exactly as it is with you now in the quiet of the dark, holding you through every hour, whether you remember it or not. You can carry nothing from this night and lose nothing, because the one true thing it offered you was never a thing to carry. It was only the remembering of what you already are, the soft awareness that has held you through your whole life and will hold you through whatever comes, asking nothing, freely, the way the moon shines on whoever lies beneath it. So you can let even the remembering go now. You need not hold on to this feeling, or fix it in your mind, or fear losing it as sleep comes near. It cannot be lost. It is what remains when everything else has been set down, the last and quietest thing, the thing that holds you as you fall asleep and will still be holding you when you wake. Let it carry you across the threshold now, into sleep, with nothing held and nothing feared. So let the moonlight fall on you. Let the gentle awareness hold you. Let yourself be carried the rest of the way into sleep by the soft light that was always shining, the quiet knowing that never once let you go, the presence in the dark that needed nothing from you but your willingness, at last, to rest. You are held. You are home. You can let go all the way now. Now the moonlight dims, softly, the way a light dims when the eyes are closing, and the warm dark deepens around you, and there is nothing left to understand, and nothing left to do, and nothing left but this, the slow breath, the soft weight, the gentle dark. Let the words grow quieter from here. Let them become a low and distant murmur, a voice in a warm room, present, but no longer asking anything of you. You can drift now. You can let go of listening. You can sleep. Feel the weight of your body, heavier now than it has been all night, sinking softly into the bed, held, kept, going nowhere. Nothing to hold up, nothing to carry. There is only the slow rise and fall of the breath, moving by itself, the way it always has, the way it will all night long without your help. Breathe in, slow and soft. Breathe out, slower still. And in the quiet after the out-breath, rest. Let the dark be gentle around you. The dark is not a thing to fear tonight. It is soft and warm and kind, a covering, a quiet, a place to disappear into for a while and be at peace. Let it cover your eyes, which are heavy now, so heavy. Let it cover your face, smooth and still. Let it cover your shoulders, fallen and wide, and your arms, and your open hands, and the slow, warm weight of your whole resting body. Let the dark cover all of it, gently, like a blanket drawn up by someone who loves you, tucking you in, leaving you to sleep. There is nothing more you need to do. You have done enough today. You have done enough, and you are enough. And now you can rest. Let that be the last soft thought, if any thought remains. Enough. You are allowed to stop. You are allowed to sleep. You are allowed to be nothing but a warm, breathing weight in the quiet dark. Kept safe. Asked for nothing. Carried gently down toward morning. Breathe in. Breathe out. Sink a little deeper. Breathe in. Breathe out. Heavier, softer, slower. There is no hurry. There is no schedule. Sleep will come in its own time, the way the tide comes in, and you do not have to wait for it or reach for it. You have only to lie here, warm and heavy and slow, and let it find you, lapping up around you, breath by breath, until it lifts you and carries you off without your ever noticing the moment you began to float. If a thought drifts up, let it drift away again, soft and unimportant, a small cloud in a dark sky, gone before you can take hold of it. You need not follow it. You do not have to answer it. Let it go and return to the breath, to the weight, to the dark, the way you have done so gently all night, again and again, with no effort, with no failure, only the soft returning, over and over, down and down. The whole world is sleeping with you now. In 1,000 dark rooms, other tired people are lying as you are lying, breathing slow, sinking down, letting the day go. The houses are dark, the streets are quiet, the lakes lie still, and the fields lie empty, and the mountains stand silent under the stars. And over all of it, the great, calm dark has settled, and you are part of it. One small, warm, sleeping thing among countless others, held by the same quiet, carried by the same gentle night toward the same far morning. Breathe and let go. Breathe and sink. Nothing to think, nothing to hold, only this, to be warm and heavy and slow and safe and gently, gently falling asleep. Let the dark take you. Let the breath carry you. Let the soft weight pull you down, past thinking, past words, past the last faint edge of waking, into the deep, quiet place where sleep is already waiting with open arms. You are almost there now. You can feel it, the soft blurring, the warm sinking, the slow dissolving of the day. Do not reach for it. Do not hold back from it. Just let it come, the way night comes, the way the tide comes, the way sleep has come to every tired creature since the beginning of the world. Gently, surely, asking nothing, taking you home. Let your face be soft. Let your jaw be loose. Let your hands lie open and still. Let your chest rise and fall on its own. Nothing to tighten, nothing to brace. The body knows how to rest, and it is resting now, all by itself, while you do nothing at all. Heavier now, softer now, slower now. Let the bed hold all of you. Let the dark hold all of you. Let the quiet hold all of you. You are kept. You are safe. You are warm. You can let go a little more. Feel the breath move in and feel it move out. And in the small space after, rest. And again, in and out, and rest. And again, there is nothing else. There is only this. In and out, and the soft, deep quiet underneath, growing wider with every breath, opening beneath you like still water, like deep, dark water you are sinking into slowly, warm and weightless, down and down. Let the murmur of these words fade now. You do not need them anymore. Let them blur and soften and drift away until they are only a warmth at the edge of the dark. And then, not even that. You can let them go. You can let everything go. There is nothing left to hear, nothing left to follow, nothing left but the warm dark and the slow breath carrying you down. No more thinking now. No more trying now. No more waiting now. Only the warm dark and the slow breath and the soft, heavy peace of a body letting go at the end of a long day. Sink into it. Disappear into it. Let it close over you gently, like deep water, like soft snow, like the kind dark itself, until there is no more you to hold and no more night to watch. Only rest, only quiet, only sleep coming up to meet you. Breathe in. Breathe out. Let go. Let go. There is only the dark now, and the breath, and the soft falling, down and down, and gently down into sleep. And if you are still here, still faintly awake at the edge of all this quiet, that is perfectly all right. There is nothing left to do but rest, whether sleep has taken you already or is still drawing near. These last few words ask nothing of you. They are only a soft blessing on the dark, a quiet wish laid gently over you as you go, the way a hand might rest for a moment on a sleeping brow before the lamp is carried from the room. From somewhere far off, very faint now, imagine the last low note of a temple bell. The same bell that sounded near the beginning of the night, struck once more, softly, at the close of the long dark. Listen to it fade. Listen to it thin into the wide silence, growing quieter and quieter, until you can no longer tell whether you are hearing it or only remembering it, until it dissolves entirely into the great, calm quiet underneath everything. The quiet that was here before the bell and remains after it. The gentle awareness that has held you all night long and holds you still. Let that fading be the shape of your falling asleep. Soft and slow and complete. Dissolving gently into the quiet, with nothing held back. You have come a long way through this night, through gates and lakes and moonlit wells, through fields and rooms and gardens and snow, all of it pointing, in its quiet way, toward this one soft place where you are now, held and unburdened, and nearly asleep. There is no need to remember any of it. You need not carry a single word into the morning. It has done its gentle work simply by keeping you company in the dark. And now it can fade, like the bell, into the quiet, and let you rest. May your sleep be deep and kind tonight. May the dark hold you gently. May whatever you carried into this night be lighter now, set down in the soft light beside you, waiting patiently for morning, no longer pressing on your rest. May you wake, when you wake, a little more rested, a little more whole, a little more held. And may you remember, on the harder nights to come, that this quiet place is always here, that the gentle awareness that kept you tonight never leaves you, that you are always welcome to return to the dark and the breath and the soft holding, as many nights as you need. And so we let them all rest now, the quiet companions who walked with us through the dark. The old watchman has sat down at last on the cold stone, his eyes soft, the gate holding itself shut while he sleeps. The high lake lies still and unbroken, the geese long flown, the whole night sky resting on its smooth, dark surface. The moon shines on, asking to be carried by no one. The bell hangs silent in its tower. The great, patient animal sleeps in the long grass of the field, no longer chased. The warm room keeps its open door, the candle burned low, the brush at rest in its holder, the garden quiet under the snow, the old monk content in his doorway with the light long faded. All of it is at peace now. All of it can rest, and you can rest among them. One more quiet, sleeping thing in a world that has gone gently still. Let your breath grow slower than slow. Let the spaces between the breaths grow long and soft and deep. There is no next thing. There is no morning to reach for yet. There is only this, the warm dark, the slow breath, the wide, kind silence, and you, sinking the last small distance into sleep. You need not stay awake for the end of this. You may have left already, carried off mid-word into rest, and if so, this blessing follows you anyway, into your sleep, into your dreams, a soft warmth at the edge of the dark, wishing you well. For now, there is nothing more. The stories are over. The teachings are set down. The bell has faded into silence. There is only the warm dark and the slow breath, and you, resting, held, at peace, drifting the last small distance into sleep, with nothing left to do and nothing left to be but exactly what you are, a tired and gentle soul, finally and fully at rest. Let the silence hold you now. Let it be soft and wide and kind. Let it carry you the rest of the way, past the last edge of these words, into the deep quiet where sleep is already waiting, where the night will keep you safe until the light returns, where you can let go all the way into rest. Rest now. There is nothing more to hear. Let the breath grow quiet. Let the dark grow deep. Let the warmth gather close, and let yourself drift, soft and unhurried, into the long and gentle sleep you have so well earned, kept safe through every hour by the quiet awareness that never sleeps and never leaves and never asks a single thing of you, but to be at peace. May the rest of the night be gentle with you. May you sink below the reach of every worry and float in the deep, still water beneath, where nothing can trouble you, where there is only quiet and warmth and the slow tide of the breath. May the hours pass over you like soft clouds over a sleeping field, unnoticed, unhurried, leaving you undisturbed. And may the morning, when it comes, find you rested and meet you gently and ask nothing of you until you are ready to rise. Until then, there is only sleep and the kind dark and the quiet keeping you. Lay it all down. Let it all go. You are carried now, the whole rest of the way, and there is nothing left for you to do but sleep. Sleep now. You are held. You are safe. You are home. There is nothing more, and nothing needed, and nowhere else to be. Only the warm dark, and the slow breath, and the gentle quiet, closing over you softly like still water, holding you until morning. Let the last of your waking thin out now, the way the bell thinned into silence, the way the snow settled into stillness, the way the evening light faded from gold to dark in the old monk's doorway. There is no edge to find between waking and sleep. There is only this slow, soft blurring, this warm sinking, this kind dark drawing you down by gentle degrees until you are no longer here at all, only resting, only carried, only sleeping in the wide quiet that keeps you. And let the quiet have you, gently, as it fades and fades into the soft and peaceful dark.